Hi guys, it's the 6th of January today. It's really windy up here. I did do a couple of films the other day. Unfortunately, for some reason the settings on the camera are wrong and they just weren't viewable. They were all over the place. It was really shaky, blurry and everything else, so I never bothered put them on, just because obviously you guys don't want to be watching that rubbish either. So I'm going to go around basically what that video was and then what we're going to get up to today. Over the last few days we've had some really bad storms up here. It's quite windy today, so I don't know if you're picking me up. I am recording the sound separately, so hopefully it'll come through. Excuse the ducks in the background. But as I was saying, it's been really windy and things have been hammered here, and a few things. The first polytunnel we built it with just like a sweeping brush handle. It sounds a bit mad, but it was the only way at the time. I was in a rush to get it up, and it was the quickest way of doing it. Well, a couple of those poles have snapped, as you've seen before when that guy tried stealing on the plot. He fell against the polytunnel and broke a couple. Well, now the wind has broken another couple. The good thing about that though is the polytunnel just bounces back into shape. All I've got to do is trim them off, stick them back in the hole, job done. So it's a quick repair. The shed itself for one of the chicken coops didn't fare so well. I came up here on the 4th to find the roof of the chicken coop on the floor. I've taken it up off the floor because of the nails and stuff and leaned it against the chicken coop itself. But I'll turn the camera around now and I'll give you a little look at that, and hopefully we can get that fixed today. So that's one of the jobs for today. The other job is fix that polytunnel. I've got a couple of other bits and bobs to show you, and then we might even get into the big polytunnel and start preparing that soil with the trommel. But we'll see how we go through the day. Like I said, weather's really bad, it's windy. Fortunately it's stopped raining. Excuse me being blasted about here. Like I said, I don't know how well the sound is going to come out. I am recording separate, so hopefully it'll be great. Anyway, I'll pan you around and you can have a little look at the shed. Well guys, as you can see, the roof is leaning up against the shed at the moment. It got absolutely ripped off the top, and it's even ripped the corner pieces, you know, the sort of the diamond shape from there, look, on the front. I don't know if it can be repaired, so I'm going to get that on today and have a look where we're about. I'm going to take you around a few other things before I do that. Fortunately, sorry about this, but fortunately no sort of chickens and ducks were hurt while that came off, so that was a good thing, and they all just ended up in that one there. So so that's a good thing. But I want to show you a couple of other things we've been up to before I get on with this, and then we'll have a look what we can do with that. Right guys, the other day when we were doing the filming, like I said, we had bad, the settings were all wrong on the camera and everything, so you couldn't really see nothing. So, but we managed to get around to building this very long, narrow bed, which is going to be for the raspberries that are over in this bed here. So we're going to take the raspberries out of that bed, and they're going to be transplanted into this bed. It's quite boggy up here at the moment, but fortunately for us, the ground does sort of taper off, and it's taking it away. I'm just going to turn you around to the polytunnel. As you can see, the polytunnel is flapping about a bit. Let me just raise you up. Okay, it's flapping about a bit. And the reason for that is because the middle two bars on the other side have actually come out of the socket. They've rotted and come out of the socket. So we just got to trim them off today, get that back in. And we need to get some supports inside that then, ready for when the snow and things come later on in January. It is starting to get colder, but I just don't know when this bad weather is going to stop, this wind and rain. I wish it would just go away and it'd start freezing. At least then you can get on with things. But we've got a few things to crack on with, so we're not too bad at the moment. One other thing I want to show you in the Polytunnel, so we'll go there next, and then we'll crack on. Okay guys, as you remember, back in late November, early December, we sorted out the strawberry bed, and all the runners we didn't have chance to put into pots and everything else, and as you would normally do a runner like in our previous videos, we decided to cut off and chuck in this big vat of water. I'm just going to show you how it's gone, because it was a trial for us, but we've been really surprised. If you're late in cutting your runners, guys, don't be afraid to do this, because just to give you some sort of idea, every one of them have got some, you know, some really good root systems appeared on them. You know, even these stumpy little things that had one leaf on them, they've grown some really good roots. I'm going to turn the camera around a bit because I can't see if you're picking this up, but look at the root system on this. So, you know, they're all, look at them, they've all grown some really good root systems, which is a good thing, because it means that we're able to use this way if we're ever late again, rather than just wasting them. You know, so it's just a little great way. Look at that. That is immense. But it's just a little great way. Look at that. Look at the size of that root system. You know, to keep these strawberry runners going rather than wasting them, guys. So let me just turn you around a moment. So don't be afraid, guys, to you know, to do that. It's not an ideal way of doing things, don't get me wrong. It's always better to have them in pots and things and what have you, but we're now on the 5th of January, sorry, the 6th of January, and you know, and these strawberry plants are still, you know, growing root systems and everything else in a bucket of water that they've been in for over a month and a half now. Today we're going to try and get through some of the ground in here, take out some of the rock and any root that's left and what have you, and we might even put some pelly mix in these beds as well. Some of it is still quite wet, but it should still go through the trommel, so hopefully we'll be okay with it. And I'm hoping that a few other things are going on, so we'll crack on, and I'll come back to you with a bit of an update on how we go throughout the day. It's probably going to get quite a long film today because we've got loads to do. I'm in work tomorrow and the day after. You'll have to excuse the wind in here. Obviously it's ploughing across the top of the Polytunnel at the moment, and it's not as tight as I'd like it, but yeah, it's perfect in the fact of the, you know, the amount of space we have and everything else. So it's doing the job, and it's held up really well in this wind. I think for the fact that it's blown down fences, blown people's sheds over, blown down greenhouses, blown down other polytunnels flat on the plots, and even taken out one of our sheds, I think it's a testament to how strong this polytunnel actually is, considering the size of it, because it does get a hammering. Anyway, I'm going to leave you for now, and then we'll come back periodically throughout the day. There we are, guys. Don't know if you can see it, but the roof is now sorted, and we've put all new bedding down for them. So we are right now back in business. What we did with the old stuff was we just launched it all across the floor here, because there was, it was clean because it was only in there for the one night. So we've put it on the floor here just to help with the mud situation, and the chickens can dig around in it. It'll help keep them a bit cleaner. Right, I'll come back to you in a moment.
Right guys, you're gonna have to excuse me. I'm breathing a touch heavy. Right, I'm gonna stop you and then I'll bring you in and show you exactly what spot. Alright guys, as you can see from here, we've got a load of little stones and some roots or something. We filled the wheelbarrow up and this is the stuff is taken out of it. So some big stones, some little stones, you know, this is no good to us, some roots, and we want all that out of the soil. As I said, we're going to put some pelly mix in this, but this is what Obviously there's the big hole that we dug. I don't know if you can actually see this because again a bit of reflection off the light here, but this is the soil that we now have. There's not a root in it. There's fine little stones which are still aid with drainage, although we're not going to have such an issue in here because obviously the only water that's going to come in here is what we put in here, so it's going to help with retaining moisture as well when we put in some of the pelly mix. But now this is very light, as you can see. We've got a good depth in that bed. You're looking at around about 1.5 foot, maybe 2 feet deep there. So all it takes now is to shovel this back in there, and we'll mix some pelly mix with it. But for now I'm going to leave it on the side. Actually no, I'm not. I'm going to mount it back up in there. I'm going to mix some pelly mix in later on because I've got to grind them up and get the root out of them also. So that's it really for the moment, guys. I'll come back to you in a little bit. Bye. Okay guys, excuse the wind and everything. We're about, I don't know, halfway. We've taken out tons of stuff. I'm going to see if I can get you a bit closer now. There we are. We've taken out absolutely tons of stuff. Give you some sort of idea how deep it is. We're about a fork and a half or spit and a half, whatever you want to call it. So as you can see guys, we're about halfway through now on the one side, and it's nice, friable. There's no roots, no weed,